Hey, it's Dorleen. Welcome to my channel and also welcome to my creative life. If you're following along this year, I am on day 10 of my 12 days of Christmas tags for the year 2024. So I'm using these watercolor sheets. This pad I bought from, I want to say Michael's, and it was years ago. And they're 5x7 sheets. So I decided I'm going to cut each tag at 2.5 by 5 inches, and that leaves 2 inches left on each of the sheets, which I do end up painting as well. So I end up with 9 total because I have the 6 that I make for the tag series. I make 6 tags each of every one of the 12 tags because first I make a set for myself, and then the other set of 12 tags I give away at the end of the series. So make sure you leave a comment because that will get you an entry. And then the others I either sell or end up going back into my tag stash for the year. But I'm just pulled out my watercolor tray and I have an idea in my head what I want to do. So I'm just kind of fussing around. I do decide to experiment first with one of the smaller or the thinner tags. So this is one of the 2-inch tags, and you'll see later I'll end up doing the all of them because I love the way it turned out. Now, believe me, I'm not winning any art contest because I'm just playing with colors and playing with an idea, but I really do like the way they turned out. So the first thing I did is I took a really light blue, and I wanted just a really light wash of blue in the background of this this tag. Now, when I first started working on this, I thought it would be fun to use buttons as an ornament, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. But so that is the reason why I have all those buttons right there. But I'm going to be making some a branch, I guess, with pine needles, and then it's going to hold an ornament. So I use that smaller green button to decide the placement of the ornament, and then drew with pencil the branches. So this paintbrush that I'm using, we actually went to the Walt Disney Museum at the Presidio in San Francisco, and it's actually pretty cool if you're in San Francisco and you get a chance to go. Now, they're closed on Tuesdays, or at least they were then. But this is one of my favorite brushes because it's a paintbrush on one side and it's a pencil on the other side. I love it. I use it all the time. So back to my painting. So you saw me use brown paint just to kind of really I try to do it really thinly. I probably should have used a different brush, but like I said, I use this one all the time and it works for me. But so I just painted some branches, and now I'm just using a really light green to add pine needles, or what I'm thinking is pine needles, to all the ends of these branches. So I'm trying to just do a really thin lines that kind of let me see, how do I say that? Like cup into each other. And then I do that with a light green. I start with a light green, and then I'm doing a medium green. I do a little bit darker green. So I ended up using like 4 different colors of green because I just thought that it made it look more realistic with all the different colors of pine needles, and also just kind of made everything just kind of stand out a little bit more. And almost that light green ended up being more of a, what do you call that? Like a shadow, I guess, of the color. So it looked fuller than it probably was. So you just saw me right there. I was cutting the corners, and I just used the corner that I snipped off on the first side, kind of reversed it, put it on the other side of that top of the tag, and then just use my scissors to cut it. I'm going to use these daubers to add some color. So within the branch, I'm adding some gold, and this is just to add some shimmer to the look because, it is Christmas, so we want some shimmer. And then I'm also going to use this one that's called Frost, and I'm going to do that one at the end or towards the end, because I'm going to do just like little polka dots here and there. And that, again, is just to add a little bit of a frosty look to it, and a little shimmer look, like as if the background was snowy or something. And so we're getting all the fills of all the different colors. I'm also going to use this white splatter to just kind of move it all around. The one thing about this is that the watercolor paper really absorbed it, so I don't think it was as pronounced as I was hoping it was going to be, but it worked out fine because if you look at it closely. It's kind of hard on film, but in person you can see those shimmers. So then I put that button down where I wanted the ornament, and I just used a very fine tip black pen and drew the a bow, and then like a line that's going to be the the tag, or the string that holds the ornament. I'm using red. I'm just going to do a circle. So like I mentioned, I was going to use the button, and then I thought, well, I'm going to put the red here just in case it, how do you want to say it? Like, just to give it a shadow and, underneath the button. I use a little bit darker, like burgundy on the bottom to give it a little bit of shadow. And then I forgot to draw the ornament holder. So I'm doing that now, and I'm going to use a little bit of black to color that in. And then as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, not that it looks sophisticated. Look, I don't want to put myself up because I don't even know if it looks like pine needles. But I just felt like that button was giving it too much of a whimsical look. And I really, really, really like the way the ornament turned out. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to paint them on. I'm going to keep it. Now, you don't notice on this one, and matter of fact, I come back and do it, but there's a lot of changes that happens when I decide to do all of them. Now, of course, I painted them and then forgot to film it because, that's me. So luckily, that was only the first couple, and then, or all of them. But what I did is, once they were all done, and you can see how they kind of warp a little bit, I do have them sitting on in between a really heavy book. But so I do go through and again put that shimmer. I do the splatter, and then you see on the ornaments on the top, kind of right where it's white, there is a white watercolor. I wasn't really sure how it was going to look, but look at how good it looks. So it doesn't give it a pink look. It really does give it a white, or like a red, a lighter white, a lighter red look. So I really, really just love it. And I'm just so surprised that they turned out pretty good. Now, like I mentioned before, like I'm not winning any art awards, but I'm just really loving how these just really turned out. They look very, very artsy. And because they're on that thick watercolor paper, I don't need to like add an extra, paper on there to give it strength or anything like that. Again, I'm just using a pen for all those fine details. Now, I mentioned earlier that when I put the ornament little topper, I actually painted that in. And then I decided, why am I painting it? I'm just going to use the black pen. But look at how pretty these turned out. And I do use that fine pen to draw a border around the entire tag because I thought that gave it a little bit of something as well. And then I believe I film it because this is an after. I decided to add black here. There I am. Just kind of here and there within it as well. But there's so many details of these tags, and they are so, so pretty. But I want to mention, if you are interested in receiving or winning one set of one of each of the tags that I made of the 12 Days of Christmas series, leave a comment here on my blog or on my Instagram, or all three, because you can get as many comments as you leave as how many entries you'll receive. So make sure you do that, and I'll have all the information in the link or the information box. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.